Hi, you've seen me stitch sashiko block after sashiko block, but now it's finally coming together and I'm about to trim and sort and decide which ones make the cut for the final quilt. And yes, there's one block I'm not sure about, and you'll see why. First, I have one last sashiko block to show you. I want to use this template for this design, but I still obviously want to go for the circular shape. So this is kind of arched around, but it doesn't, of course, fit in my fabric properly. So I've taken my 10-inch square and I've folded it in half and then into a quarter. And if I put this on here with about 1/4 of an inch around the edge, I'm hoping that when I draw some of these flowers in, I can get some of the whole flowers, and then on these in-between bits just do something to make it look okay. I'm going to first measure 1/4 of an inch from the edge and draw a line all the way around, and then I'm going to press folds in the corner. When I've done that, I'll lay these on and we'll try drawing it and just see what happens, and if it doesn't work then we'll just go to another plan. So I've pressed that into quarters. And I'm just going to open that out and put 1/4 of an inch markings all the way around here. And for this part, I'm just going to use this ceramic pen because I don't want these markings particularly to stay on for very long. And these will just rub off as I'm working on the sashiko. This is just a guideline. It's just going to help me place this little template evenly around. This is one of those where I'm experimenting on camera. I'm just not sure how this one is going to work out, so we'll see. So I'm going to place that on there, lining up this outer edge with the line that I've just drawn. And then I'm going to just mark in these little flower sections. This white pen might be a little light for this. It's kind of a denim blue fabric, this. I might need to get a different coloured pen, let's see. No, I think that'll be okay. Now, I may not use all of these flowers that I'm marking. I will definitely use these outer ones, but I'm not sure about the central ones. I probably won't use that one, but I think I'll use this one. And also, I'm not going to draw in this branch at the moment because I'm just not sure what I want to do with that. So now I'm going to turn that over, line it up again with these outer edges. Now I'm definitely not going to draw these two, but I'm going to draw these other four. Once I get this part on, I'll have some idea of whether this is going to work and do what I want it to do or not, and see what adjustments we've got to make after that. I'm getting close to the end of this quilt now. This may be the last block that I actually show doing the sashiko on camera. I may move on then to sewing the quilt together and we'll get it finished. Now the next one, I'm going to fold that way. And I'm just going to go on and continue drawing around this and put all these flowers on and then see. So you can see how that is. Well, it's not quite circular, but it's got a fairly circular motion. And if I put another flower here somewhere, after I've got these others drawn on, I think that will complete what I want it to do. I think that'll look okay. So I'll finish drawing this on and then I'll do some sashiko. I just added the smallest of the little flowers right there and there. You see that? And now I've added this one kind of randomly here. And I'm going to put another one in this space here to fill that space out a little. And then that'll be the last one that I'm doing. So placement on these last ones is not exact. They don't have to be identical. I am just making sure that it doesn't actually stitch over another of the little flowers that's there. I think that should clear them. This is one of the times when it doesn't help that the pen doesn't show up straight away, but that's okay. I think this should be okay. I think this pen might actually be starting to run a little bit dry as well. I may need to get a new one out. All right. So that'll brighten up in a minute, and I think that'll be ready for sewing. And I haven't decided here whether to put another flower or actually to put a little stem of some kind, or maybe just leave it the way it is. I'll be able to tell better when I actually put the sashiko on. It'll show up brighter and I'll get a better idea. I think I'm going to quite like it like that. And I'm just going to do regular white sashiko thread on this particular piece. I have my sashiko thimble, my needle and thread, and I'm down to just a little bit of this thread, but I do have a new skein of it to start, but I think that's probably enough to finish this block. Doesn't really matter where I start this. Oh, guess I should put a knot in my thread. Now, if I like how this looks, I'll do either just the same on a different colour of the square or another variation of a similar pattern. I want to do one though first and just see what I think to this. And I think this is a good way of showing how you can get these templates, but you don't have to stick exactly to what the template does. You don't have to put it on there and draw exactly the way it is. You can put more than one template together. You can move the template into different areas, and you can make your own unique pattern, even though, you know, many other people may have the same template. That it's the way you use it that makes the difference. And you may not like the way I used it here, and you can do your own little moving it around and seeing what you think looks the best. Another way I thought about doing this before I started was actually just to draw a circle and just sit the flowers around on the circle. I've done that, something similar on other ones of these blocks using a different pattern. And again, just changing how the template is, just using the parts of it that I want. Going to go down on this one and do the center of this flower. And I think what I'm going to do is just use the little dot as the center and just do a little stitch all the way around each part. And again, I may not make these all the same. So you see what I've done there? Where there's a bigger circle, I may try to do a circle of stitches, but when it's really tiny circles, it's very difficult to get a good result doing sashiko. So I think this kind of arrangement will look better. Now I can't load many stitches on here because these little petals are not very long. So I'm just doing each time I'm trying to do the length of the petal, even though it is slightly curved. And then just the 3 finger strokes. I'm going to have a nice evening doing the sashiko on this little block. I'll show you when it's finished. I finished all the sashiko on this block. It is, yeah, it's circular. I'm not sure whether I need to do anything more in the centre. I think I'm going to leave it for now. I'm going to put it in the quilt and see what it looks like. And if I feel like it doesn't show up enough or stand out enough, then I'll make some adjustments. It is a very delicate looking pattern. How well it'll show up in the quilt, I'm not sure. So what I'm going to do next is put it in place and see what I think. And I may make another block similar to this. That's really what I've done with most of the blocks. I've made one and made another one in a similar vein. So we'll have a look at it in a minute. What I'm doing here is I'm taking a photograph of this quilt so that I can remember, or a video, exactly where these blocks are. And not every block is quite done. It's actually not looking at its best at the moment, is it? Because I haven't had it on the wall. It's been on the design cloth that I have, and it's actually been rolled up, and it's not looking very good at all. But I need this picture because I'm going to take all these pieces off here now. I'm going to press them, and I want to be able to put them back on here. And I'll tell you why some of them may need to be trimmed. So I've brought these through here to check all the sizes, and I've just given them a press. And they might still not be perfect, but they're going to get ironed some more between now and the finished quilt. What I want to check is that these are all the same size. So most of these are from one layer cake. They're supposed to be 10 inches square, but the truth is they're not always 10 inches square. So I'm just going to measure that. And that one is about 10 1/8. I'm not sure if you can see that or not. You see, it's just over just a little bit. And that's okay, I can leave them 10 1/8 as long as they're all the same size. Now, the ones from the same layer cake, and I do know which ones they are, they will be all the same size. But because I wanted a different colour in here, if I can find one of the other pattern, I used another layer cake as well. And that was because these original pack, which I liked a lot, it went very suddenly from a dark blue to a light blue, and I wanted a denim-y kind of in between blue, and there was not enough of those in there. And so I got another pack and mixed it in, and then this is what often happens. Do you see the difference there between the two packs? See, that's quite a lot. Now, if I try to sew those together like that, I think you can tell that nothing's going to match up. So the next step that I'm going to do here is I'm going to go through all these, and I'm going to trim them so that they are exactly the same size, and I'm going to trim to this smallest size. So let's just measure exactly what that is. And it's 10 in one direction. It's not actually even square, this one. 10 by, and probably, well, it's close enough. Let's put that one to one side, and we'll just trim this one so that it's the same size as that one. And I could probably stack these up and do more than one at once, but it'll be more accurate if I do it this way. And the other thing is that this is a plain one, so I can just cut off two sides. But this one, there's a pattern in the centre, so I'll have to actually cut off all four sides if I need to trim this one down. So this is going to take me a while, but that's what I'm going to do. So let me just double check that measurement. I could actually just leave this laying on here and trim down the edge of it. In fact, I think I will for this one. Let's just do that. I'll save working out the numbers. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that whole thing, and then I'll lay them back down on my design wall. So the last thing that I wanted to talk about here is, let me just get this one out. All these blocks, you know, I've done these different patterns, and some I like a lot better than others. Like I particularly like this one. Most are, you know, I like them, or I think they'll be okay in the quilt. But one that I just can't seem to bring myself to like is this one. And I made it like this because on the original quilt there was some applique that covered two blocks. It wasn't this pattern though, but I've seen this pattern done on a quilt and I liked it. But on my quilt, I'm having some doubts about whether to use it or not. So I'm still deciding on that one. And I think the reason that it's a problem is close up when I look at it like this, then I like it, it looks fine. When I put it on the quilt and stand back, it's almost like the whole pattern just disappears and it just looks like a pale circle on there. So unless I can darken this outline, which my one thought I have left to do that is to do some kaguri, to weave some dark thread in and out and see what that looks like. I may actually abandon this block, but I'm still undecided, still thinking about it, so. In the comments, you can tell me what you think I should do. I thought I'd do a quick flip through of these blocks in case you haven't seen the whole of the episodes that I've made. Some I like a lot better than others. This one particularly, I've done a couple like that. Those are some of my favourites. I really enjoyed those. Tried to stick to the circular theme on all of them. I particularly enjoyed doing this one with the English paper piece in. I love that fabric without any pattern on it. Another applique one that I've really like this pattern. I've done it several times. And again, I enjoyed the hexagon ones there. I'm trying to skip these ones that are still to do. I see the white on the dark, it shows up much better than all the other colours. So I better get started with the trimming here, and then it'll be time to start putting the quilt together. The next thing I'm going to do is start putting these rows together. So I've laid the top row out, just looked at my video to make sure of the order, and this end square doesn't have anything on it yet, so I'm not going to sew that on at the moment. But when I've sewn these together, I'll pin that to it so I know where it is. This is going to help me keep this organised now. It's got to the point where I feel like I need to have some of it put together. So my 4 that I'm going to sew are in a row, and I'm just going to put them right sides together, right sides together, and then sew, and then put these 2 pieces together. That row will be done. I'm going to work that way down row by row and put as many together as I can. I have my little pair of these. When I usually chain sew like this, I try to pin a lot together and do them all at the same time. But with this one, because I can't sew every single one at the moment, I'm just treating each row individually. But for now, I'm just going to do these 4. Just making sure these edges all meet nicely, putting a couple of pins in. And of course it's a 1/4 inch seam. And then sew these 4 together. When I've put as many together as I can, then I'm going to finish the other sashiko blocks. Next time it all comes together, I'll be assembling the full quilt and adding one less sashiko detail that wasn't part of the original plan. It's a little unexpected, but I think it ties everything together beautifully, and I can't wait to show you it. Hope you liked the video, and thanks for watching. If you subscribe and hit the notification bell, you won't miss the final quilt. Jess, my helper, and I will see you then.